Thanks, Paul. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend, and it's great to be back with you, back in season, so to speak, after a bye. So, a good week for us. Started the week early on the road recruiting, and it was great to get out. And it was a lot of traveling, but a lot of fun. And we came back, and our two coordinators had developmental squad practices early in the week with our guys that kind of aren't in the rotation right now. We came back and got after it Thursday, Friday pretty hard, and then gave everybody the weekend off and back at it this morning. So great to be back into a game week. Here we go with a couple game stretch on the road, starting in College Park, obviously where I had the privilege to work early my first year as a coach. So it'll be great to get back out there, and then obviously worked on the staff there with Mike Loxley. So known Lox for a number of years. He's doing a great job running their program. They're off to a terrific start. Very easily could have won the two games that they lost. So they're playing at a very high level. Lost their quarterback, but then Edwards jumped in, and man, that was impressive to watch the way he played down the stretch. That was a tough, hard-fought win on the road in Bloomington on Saturday, and to watch the way that he stepped up was really impressive. They had a huge turnover late that they created as Indiana was driving. So very talented team, and we've obviously got to play a lot cleaner. Taking care of the ball, like I've said. I mean, that's been our biggest issue by far, is our turnover ratio, and in particular, our inability to take care of the ball as an offense is really put us in some tough situations, momentum-wise, tough situations as far as scoring points, and then put our defense in some tough spots too. So a lot of things we've worked on this week, and hopefully we'll take it with us to College Park. So with that, hopefully I'll answer any of your questions. Again, appreciate you all being here with me.
Reminder, if you have a question, please message Athletic Communications in the chat. First question for John Vogt.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Just want to ask more about the bye week here, how your team's feeling, refreshed, get a few days to heal up and get back into it.
Yeah, John, I mean, I think from a standpoint of, where the bye fell kind of gave us a chance, I think, for our players to kind of unplug a little bit. I told them I wanted them to get out of the building for a little while. Like Monday, Tuesday, we had a lift for them, and we did some active recovery stuff and treatment stuff, but kind of wanted them to kind of recharge a little bit, and then we had two really good practices end of last week. Not surprising. I mean, this group has been working really, really hard, and I'm really proud of them for that. I just got to get them to trust themselves and play that way on Saturdays. I thought they came back refreshed today. We had a good workout this morning, and we'll get into our normal game week, here starting, tomorrow with our more typical practices. Our plan is to be in Ryan Fieldhouse this week with the wind this week. And we typically do that on the road anyways, simulating crowd noise and things of that nature. So, and calling for a beautiful day in College Park. Looks like it's going to be like mid to high 60s, the light breeze. So it should be a great day to play, but yeah, everybody's recharged, ready to rock, and we got half the season left, and everybody's excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Riker.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you being here with us today. I'm interested, Peter and Adetomiwa have had pretty similar passing your program with their fast starts early on to their captain status and consistency on the field now. Have you seen those two players sharpen each other as players, but also leaders this year?
Well, as players, great question. As players, obviously competing against each other, not only on the field, but then, both guys have, freakazoid strength numbers, and, we condition and we do different things. The offense and defensive lines, typically, the big guys go against each other on quite a few things. So just to watch both their maturations as far as athletically, competitively, fundamentally on the field, I think both have really pushed each other, which has been fun to watch. And I think they've both just continued to grow that way. And same thing from, a leadership standpoint. I think as a young player at times, you kind of wait your turn. Just kind of the nature, I think, of football. We don't want it that way, but, that's why on our leadership council, we've got younger players that we're trying to foster an environment where guys will feel comfortable being in that role. And they usually are in a smaller setting, maybe sometimes in front of the team they're not. But, really this last offseason, you saw a big jump from both Tommy and from Peter, to a standpoint where I think they're very comfortable, not only with who they are and what they bring to our program, but also, the willingness to hold others accountable and then bring people, more importantly, along with them, has been great growth and a lot of fun to watch, and something that we're all very proud of, both those guys. Here, the way they are, the way they carry themselves, type of teammates that they are, and obviously been two very good players for us.
And when they line up against each other in the practice settings, is it a pretty even matchup? Does one ever have the edge?
Yeah, I mean, I think like anything in practice, there's ebb and flow. I mean, there's no doubt that those guys enjoy competing against each other, and they'll let each other know who won at times, especially in training camp and spring practice. But in season, it's a little bit different when you're kind of getting ready game plan wise. But from that standpoint, yeah, they're great teammates, but they love to compete against each other.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet, absolutely.
Lawrence Price.
Hey, Coach, Lawrence Price, Daily Northwestern. Could you talk about Brennan Sullivan over this bye week, just the progress that he made? And, of course, seeing him against Wisconsin, should it be expected to see a similar flow between him and Ryan Helinski coming up against Maryland? Yeah,
I thought he had a really good week of practice last week. He's practiced well all year. I mean, it's not 50-50 as far as the reps, the 1 and the 2. It's probably 65, 35, 70, 30, so he's been getting quite a few game plan reps, maybe certain things that he gets actually more reps at, than Ryan. So, he's practiced pretty dang well. I mean, and again, this competition wasn't like it was really, divided with a cavern as we came out of training camp. We thought both guys had good camps, both guys had good off seasons, and I thought when he came in, I thought he was gritty. I thought he was gutsy. I thought that he did some things really well. And I also think it looked at times like it was his first time being out there. So, kind of all wrapped up, but, Jake does a great job with those guys. I think there's great rapport and camaraderie in the room, and, however we decide to deploy our quarterbacks, both guys, I think will be, each other's biggest fans. I mean, Sully has been for, X amount of weeks. And, I know, Ryan, as he's recovering, was the same way last week for Sully. So, that's what I expect.
Bradley Locker.
Hey, Coach, great to be with you again. You mentioned how you guys are entering the second half of your season. What expectations, if any, do you have for the second half, and what are you hoping to see out of your team in these last 6 games? Yeah,
Brad, I expect to go 1-0 each week. I think that's kind of where we're always at, and that doesn't change or deviate whether or not you're, where we're at right now, or, you're 5-1, 6-0, 4-2. It doesn't change. You've got to consistently prepare. You've got to then that gives you a chance. And then you got to take that with you and trust yourself and go play on Saturdays, in ways that winners do. And that's, like I said, that's the area that I need to continue to drive this team. We've got to just trust ourselves and execute on Saturdays the way we are during the week, and take care of the football. We got to take care of the ball. And I've coached a lot of really successful teams around here, and it's not rocket science. You can go back and look at a lot of the reasons why. And the number one kind of correlation is our ability to win the turnover battle. And we're not where we need to be right now. I mean, it's that simple. And so it's something we work every day. It's something that we preach, and we've just got to get it done on Saturdays. So that's something that's a huge point of emphasis on both sides, taking care of it and taking it away. But again, it's nothing new. But it's obvious it's something that we're not being very successful at right now, and we need to get that fixed in a hurry.
Louis Vicaire.
Happy Monday, Coach. You already mentioned it, but Talia Tagovailoa got hurt on Saturday. Obviously, a very dynamic player for them. How does that impact your preparation this week?
Well, as you watched as Billy went in, and like I said earlier, I thought he did a phenomenal job. I thought he played very poised, very confident. There were some nuances of their game plan that it maybe looked like they felt like, fit him pretty well. There was quite a bit of quarterback run. I think a little bit of that is obviously his skill set, their scheme, and then also a little bit of what Indiana was doing schematically on defense. So they did a great job. Danny does a phenomenal job. He's a great offensive coordinator, known him for a long time. And so they'll play to his strengths. Danny's been around the block a time or two. So he's done a really good job at every place he's been. And So what do I expect? I expect if he's healthy, he'll play. If not, Edwards will play, and they'll deploy, what they think fits their scheme best, because they've got weapons all over the place. I mean, they got like, I don't know how many guys with 20 plus receptions, both tight ends. They're playing multiple running backs. I mean, they've got a very, very talented offense, and defensively, I've been so impressed with their physicality. They're playing a lot of guys, kind of similar to Penn State a few weeks ago, just the amount of players that they're playing. And then to see the way they had a bunch of adversity strike in Bloomington. And man, it was really impressive to watch the way the entire team responded. It was, Locks is doing a great job. That was impressive to watch the way that team responded in Bloomington.
Reminder to message Athletic Communications if you have a question and you want to get in the queue. Next question for John Vogt.
Yeah, hi again, Coach. Wanted to ask about Evan Hull. He's got the most receiving yards by a Big Ten running back through the first 6 games for a Big Ten player this century. Just how important is he to the offense right now, and how is he clicking?
Yeah, well, I think for everybody, it's probably a good week to recharge. We've leaned heavily on him. He's a complete back. You see him running the ball. Obviously, we try to put him in advantageous matchup situations. Sometimes we've got him the ball. Sometimes we haven't. We've had him, I think, in some really good spots where he hasn't gotten the ball, and we got to just continue to stress that. And then he's made some huge plays for us, and for us to kind of get, ourselves kind of back rolling on the right direction, win column wise, he's going to be a big part of it offensively.
Bradley Locker.
Coach, this weekend was pretty historic in terms of around the country, lots of ranked matchups, teams going down, some pretty wild environments. Just wondering if you got to see any of those games, and if so, what you thought, and if you had any takeaways about kind of the state of college football.
Yeah, Brett. Yeah, I did. It was great. Yeah, Saturday I got to be a dad, so I got to watch a high school football game at 9. It was absolutely beautiful weather out. That's why my voice is like this. It was little chillier than you wanted on Saturday at 9 a.m. But I got a chance to watch my son Ryan, and then my oldest son Jack played at 1:30, so I had a chance to watch that. So didn't get a chance to watch the early games, but got home in time for the field goal heard around the world. That thing that kind of looked like my golf shot that went over the upright there in Nashville. All of a sudden, Mr. Cat looked up when he heard golf shot in me. So yeah, no, it was fun to watch. I got a chance to watch a little bit of the end of the Utah game. And that was, what do I think? I think it's awesome. I think college football in between the white lines has never been a more competitive game. I think that there's talent on every team. I think every team's well coached, and every game is entertaining and exciting. And, I'm a fan first. So fun to watch. Good stuff, man. And it's going to get even better. You get into the heart of October and then into November. You got conference teams playing each other, rivalry games. I mean, this is when it gets. And then what do we only have Tuesday off right now? Football, right? We got Monday Night Football tonight, nothing tomorrow, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, and then obviously the pros on Sunday. So if you're a football fan, man, this is like nirvana. This is awesome.
Another one for Louis.
Hey, Fitz, I also wanted to ask about Donnie Navarro. I was wondering, can you tell us how you landed him and what he's meant to you this year? And was it strange at all to get a kid from your arch rival, Illinois?
Yeah, first of all, we were kind of done with our class, and then we had a scholarship become available. So that was kind of how things progressed, I guess, as far as us looking. We had, going back to when Donnie was in high school, knew about him and watched him, and then he transferred down to Illinois and had a really good run there. And when he went in the portal, we vet everybody. I mean, we've got a group of our recruiting staff that vets everyone, and everything checked and aligned. And then we just got in contact and started talking, and got him up here, and most importantly, got him around the players. And he already had a relationship with some guys, again, being a Chicagoan, knowing some of our players, and we're ecstatic to have him. It's a little bit different, when you probably first started covering the team, and when I first started coaching, to hear that a guy would transfer from school A to school B within the conference was pretty much unheard of. Almost, I think it was a Big Ten policy that you couldn't do that. And to where we're at today, this is the new normal, I guess you'd call it. So we're just looking for the right fit, whatever that means, right? I mean, starts academically. Do we think the young man can come here to compete to start? And then does he fit the culture of our locker room for the type of young man that we want in our community, in the athletic department here on the Northwestern campus and the greater Evanston community? So, looking for that. I mean, Donnie checks the boxes with A+ for all those areas. And he's done a really good job for us in the kick game. And also same thing, obviously at receiver, making some big plays. And we're going to lean heavily on him here the last half.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
I appreciate everybody. Hey, big weekend in Illinois high school football here, right? Last regular season game. And I know my boys have got a big one. So I want to wish them well, but huge games, a lot of conference championships being decided, and obviously playoff berths and, playoff seeding goes into this weekend. So just want to wish all the Illinois high school players and high school coaches the best of luck here this weekend. Appreciate everybody. If you're traveling with us, be safe and go Cats.
Questions for Jeremiah Lewis. If you have a question, you can go ahead and message Athletic Communications in the chat and we'll get you added to the queue. First question for John Riker.
Hey, Jeremiah. First off, why do you feel that this team has performed better on the road than at home this season? And what about playing on the road gets you excited as a player?
Playing on the road it's always interesting, at least for me, going to different places that I personally haven't seen before, different, players and so forth, typically Big Ten, bigger state schools. So it's always going to be an exciteful, atmosphere that I personally haven't experienced. And I think many others on the team, at least the younger guys haven't experienced too, that we use as a way to kind of, build momentum and kind of give us more fuel to our fire throughout games and throughout season.
And do you think there's something about the approach the team has had for its Ireland trip and its Penn State trip that's allowed, I guess specifically the defense has done really well in those two games? Is there something about your approach that's really helped you guys lift your performance for those games?
Yeah, we know, games like that where we may not have the crowd involved, that we have to start fast. Essentially that we're working against the crowd the whole game. The best thing for us to do is to, show that we, stop the run, limit big plays in an effort to essentially keep the crowd out of it. Ireland was a neutral site, but unfortunately Nebraska did travel well. So it was a similar instance. And of course, like you said, Penn State, we knew we had to stop the run, especially with the weather conditions that for that specific day. But I think overall, we try to keep the same approach, both home and away, but always playing on the road kind of gives everybody a spark.
Thank you.
We'll go to Bradley Locker.
Hey, Jeremiah, just wondering what you've seen, what the defense has looked like over the course of the year, any type of progression that or patterns you have noticed. And you guys had a 2-week stretch against Miami and Penn State. Felt like the defense was really starting to click. How do you think you can kind of harness those 2 games?
Yeah, we keep using those games as building blocks. We use every game as building blocks. Of course we have somewhat, injury bugs, but it enforces that, everybody needs to step up. Whether freshman, sophomore, the list goes on. We all have, great players on this team, regardless of classification, we seek to keep improving throughout the season.
Lawrence Price.
What's up, Jay Lou? Lawrence Price, Daily Northwestern. Can you talk about how important the bye week was for the team? I mean, Coach talked about, kind of the routine you all went through, but can you, talk about how important that was or impactful it was going in, the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think it was much needed by everybody on the team. Kind of get back to the basics, get back to the fundamentals that we kind of established throughout fall camp. And this kind of gives us time to kind of self-evaluate ourselves as far as, things we did well for the first half of the season, different things that we expect our opponent to kind of look at to exploit us defensively. So it kind of allows us to kind of self-evaluate, take a step back, breathe, relax, and kind of, enjoy the game of football. Of course, there's a lot of good games this weekend, but also kind of give us some extra time to prepare for Maryland.
Reminder to message Athletic Communications in the chat with any questions. Next question for John Volk.
Yeah, hey Jeremiah, we're about halfway through October here. Obviously, you coming from Duke, just wanted to see, how you feel like you've acclimated to Northwestern, whether on campus, in the locker room, or on the field.
Yeah, I think both from Duke and Northwestern are very similar institutes as far as the academic rigors. I would say the biggest change for me has been the weather. Unfortunately, it's getting a little chilly up here for me, but overall, I mean, I feel very good, very comfortable around the guys as far as the locker room. Coach O'Neill and Coach McPherson have done a great job as far as helping me essentially learn the safety position. I played corner at Duke, so it was somewhat of a change for me. I played safety in high school, but just kind of essentially seeing the big picture back there on the back end that they've taken the time out their day or time out of meetings to kind of make sure I understand that.
All right. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Thank you.
Athletic Communications in the chat, and we will get you added to the queue. First question for Louis Vicaire.
Hey, Donnie, Louis Vicaire with Wildcat Report. What made Northwestern the fit for you as a transfer? And tell me what it's been like going from Illinois to Northwestern, right? 2 rival schools in state. What's that whole experience been like?
Yeah, I think when I went into the portal, I was looking for really the right fit for me. And really for the right fit for what the team needs. I had a lot of really good conversations with Coach Springer, Coach Pajaki, and Coach Fitzgerald. And ultimately, academics obviously was a really big factor in my decision. And what, Northwestern had offensively and what they kind of planned to do with me and things like that was attractive to me. So I've developed really good relationships with the coaches here. And so I'm really happy with that. And then as far as just the change from rival to rival, I think it was really, awesome that the guys here were very welcoming. They coming from a rival school, you may not know what to expect, right? So I was able to gel with these guys really quickly. I'm coming out in the summer, working out in the summer, and kind of just developing relationships was great. So they've been great. Teammates have been great. I've been really happy with just that transition.
Are you still in touch with former teammates? A little smack talk going back and forth or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm in touch with them for sure. Yeah. There's obviously relationships off the field, right? That I've kind of kept in contact with, which is really great. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Lawrence Price.
Hey, Donnie, Lawrence Price, Daily Northwestern. You've been able to catch passes or just build a bond with both quarterbacks and Ryan Helinski and Brennan Sullivan. Can you talk about kind of the differences that they bring or their skill sets that you see and kind of, the differences?
Yeah. Definitely both really good leaders in the huddle. Very good communicators, both prepare, really, really well. I've been, in my preparation, I'm in contact with the both of them, right? I'm, sending video to them, both of them, so that they understand we're on the same page. Obviously, Brendan showed a little bit in the Wisconsin game and what he can do with his feet and things like that. And so, Ryan's been great, throughout the year, throwing the ball in the air. And so I've enjoyed developing relationships with them, and I hope to continue to keep working every week to establish timing and keep that going as we get into the second half of the year.
John Vogt.
Yeah, hi Donnie. Just wanted to ask about the bye, how you're feeling after the week off, feeling recharged and all healed up, all that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the bye week was a really good time for us to reflect as an offense, as a team, and individually, right? Look at some of the things you do good, look at some of the things you need to fix, and then how we're going to fix it. So it was good to kind of take a step back, reflect on that, and then come into this week looking to improve. Bodies feel great, so just looking to improve, come in with a good attitude every week, coming in ready to learn and execute in practice.
John Riker.
Hey, Donnie, John Ricker, Daily Northwestern. What do you feel is essential for an offense to do when preparing for a road game in a road crowd to get a good start going?
It starts from practice, of course. The way we start everything, right? So the way we attack our stretch, the way we attack every single period from start to finish. So I think developing that mindset prior to, and so, hopefully that carries over on to Saturdays.
And then is there something about being on the road in the road atmosphere that gets you most excited as a player?
Yeah, it's exciting for sure. I mean, you look back at, Penn State and the conditions and taking everything into account. It's definitely exciting going in there and being, outnumbered as far as fans go, right? You kind of have play a little bit more of a chip on your shoulder. You want to silence the crowd, things like that. So we look forward to being on the road this week. And yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Donnie.